Google just released a brand new update for AI agents. They've just dropped something insane, and it's called Google Workspace Studio. It lets you build AI agents that do your work for you. No code, no tech skills. Just tell it what you want in plain English. And these AI agents can work within Gmail, Google Drive, chat, and Sheets. And here's what crazy, right? Millions of these tasks have already been automated by AI agents in the last 30 days. And the best part is, it's free if you have Google Workspace. It runs on Gemini 3, Google's newest and smartest AI. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how it works. I'll break down the agents you can build. I'll show you the templates you can steal. And I'll give you a complete 30-day plan to set this up for your business. If you're running a business, right? If you're drowning in emails, if you're tired of boring tasks, eating up your day, this may be the most important thing Google has ever released for people. Stay here until the end because I'm going to show you exactly how to build your first AI agent right now, right here. Let's get straight into it. So essentially, you can see this is the new update from Google. You can get started. It shows you how to build stuff, use cases, integrations, templates, FAQs, etc. So for example, you could tell people, okay, notify me about emails from key people, label emails that have action items, right? It goes from Gmail to Gemini, for example. You've got star emails for follow-up, get a daily summary of unread emails, send email summaries and action items for meetings, and get news headlines summarized daily, right? There's a bunch of new templates you can get over here if you click on the explore template section, so you can see some examples, and you can switch between, like, for example, translation items, auto labeling, saving attachments to Google Drive, and responding quickly to customers as well. And it also links to Asana, Atlassian, Intuit, MailChimp, and Salesforce. So you can orchestrate it across all the most popular things that you use. And it's pretty simple and easy to use and get this set up. Now, bear in mind, this is a brand new update. So Google have just announced it literally today, a few hours ago. This is fresh off the press. We got straight onto it for you. And if you've never used this before, don't worry, I'm going to show you exactly how to set it up. And it is really, really simple and easy. So basically what you can do is you go to flows.workspace.google.com, and then you're going to see a list of your agents over here. So you can see, for example, I've set up notify me about emails from key people and daily recap of unread emails and chat, right? So we're going to click on the plus sign over here. You can discover new workflows as well. So if you click on the discover section, you can find a bunch of workflows here if you just want to steal some existing ones. And then from here, we can click the plus sign to get started on this bad boy and start working our magic. Now, it's really simple because the great thing about this is it's already working within the ecosystem that you probably already use, right? I mean, most of us use these templates, this ecosystem from Google. So if you're already using Google Docs or Google Drive or emails, Gmail, I think pretty much everyone uses Gmail for business, then you can start using this, right? So what you're going to do from here is you can create a custom one from the set here. So for example, like, let's say, for example, okay, when I get an email like this, we could say all emails, and we're logged into the email account that we use, right? So we're using me at juliangoldie.com to do this. And you can set this up for any specific custom domain. And then you say, right, when I get an email, choose a step, then ask Gemini, ask a gem, or recap unread emails or extract or analyze or that sort of thing. You could say, okay, draft a reply, right? So you can say, when I get an email, draft a reply. And one of the cool things about this, right, is that you can take the variables from step one. So step one is get an email, right? And step two is draft a reply. Well, then we can switch the variables over here and say, right, based on the email body here, and what else we got here? Based on the email subject, based on, let's see, we can use the email thread if it's a longer thread as well. And then based on the email address in the from section, etc., then we can take all this information and start using it. Right? So we can take the sender display email address, we can take the sender display name, we could take the attachments from the email as well, so you can actually analyze the attachments, file name and file type, etc. And then we could say reply to all, so that can reply to multiple people, and then we can choose the CC, the BCC, etc. Right? So we've got the email to reply to, which is basically the email ID, right? The message, and this is taking all the variables from the original email. Then we've got the CC and BCC you can use if you want, and then you can choose to send the reply or not, but I'm just going to go with the basic, right? If we switch that on like so, we can go over to our emails and we can start using this, right? So I'm just going to X off that. We can save the changes here as well. So if you make any changes, you can save them, and then it should start drafting a reply. So let's have a look at this. We'll test this out. I'm going to go over to my emails. And I'll send an email to me at juliangoldie.com. Try and get this bad boy set up. All right, so let's try this out. I'm going to compose a new email from my personal to my professional email. All right, test. Are you working? Do you read my emails? Right, something like that. So You saw how quickly and easily we set up that workflow. Now we're going to send the test email to test out. So I'm going to hit enter like so. You can see the message that we sent right here. This is going over to me at juliangoldie.com. So if we go to our inbox now and let's see if this is working. Now we've got the email in our inbox and you can see that it's beginning to draft a reply right here, right? So it's taking the email that we've received and then begin to reply right there. All right. So if we go back to this agent, what we can also do is we can go to the discover section and we can find some other examples, right? So we inside the examples here, we can say, right, okay, get news headlines, summarize daily reply. Right. So every day, review the key news stories from our inbox. So Gemini is going to summarize the top headlines. You see how easy and quick this is to install as well to our inbox. And then each time we set up a new agent, it will appear inside the agent section over here. So it said, success, your agent is on and ready to work. View activity, let's see what's going on over here. So now it's getting the latest news headlines. It's on a schedule, so it's running at 7:52 a.m. It's asking Gemini to review all of our headlines like so. We've also got another workflow running, which says when I get an email, summarize it over here. You can see that's basically giving us the FYI over here. So we've got all these different email automations, right? And then it summarized the latest news headlines inside our inbox, as you can see. So we've got like the weather headlines, the sport, etc., the general news headlines like so. And then it will actually send a daily email news summary to our inbox. So if we open this up, you can see that we've got the daily news summary over here. Right. And how easy was that to automate? Literally all we did was click a couple of buttons. So if we go back to our agents now, we're really beginning to build like a full orchestra of different AI agents using this new update. So for example, we've got get news headlines summarized daily. We have the daily recap. We have the notify emails from key people. And so it's really, really simple and easy to do this. Let me tell you something that hit me hard when I saw this drop, right? So when this new update came out, and it is very impressive, like it is pretty crazy stuff. You know, I've been doing SEO and running my businesses for years now. And you know what really grinds my gears, what takes the jam out of my donut, right? It's the stuff, it's the endless stuff. It's every morning waking up, checking emails, sorting through which ones need reply, flagging the important ones, moving things to folders, updating my tracker sheet, sending follow-ups, pinging my team, checking on projects, and then boom, 2 hours have gone, right? Every single day. And that's before I even start the actual work of my business. And so, you know, you can use automation tools like Zapier, Make, all that sort of thing, but, you know, quite often they do break. And one small change can basically rip and tear the whole thing down. So, you know, you sometimes as well need to think like a programmer to set them up right, especially if you're using something like NA10 as well. And so when I saw Google Workspace Studio go live, I literally stopped what I'm doing because this is pretty much different. You know, you just tell it what you want in regular words, or you can click the templates. And it's like you're talking to a smart assistant that builds the AI agent for you. So if you say, okay, when I get an email with a question, label it and ping me in the chat, it's done. And that does it now forever, right? For example, like those news headlines and that sort of thing. So it's really simple and easy. And yeah, super simple to do. Here we go. And but he's just, you know, the other thing I would say here is like, you know, people like Richard Branson, for example, the guy who built Virgin Airlines, music, space, travel, etc., hundreds of companies. Someone asked him once, like, how do you run so many businesses? And he said something that changed how I think everything, right? He said, the secret is delegation. I don't do the work. I find the right people and the right systems to do the work. And here's the problem for us solopreneurs. We can't hire a team of 50 people. We can't pay for fancy assistants, and we're doing everything ourselves. And that's why this matters so much, because Google has just given us a team of AI workers that don't sleep, workers that don't make mistakes, workers that handle the boring stuff so we can focus on what actually matters, right? This is an interesting one. Like Karcher, the big cleaning company, they tested this stuff early. They built a team of agents in the Workspace Studio. And when someone proposes a new feature, one agent checks if it's a good idea, another checks if it's doable, another writes up the user experience, and finally an agent puts together a complete plan. And this is, you know, what I used to do, and what used to take hours now takes like 2 minutes. And 90% of the time, you can automate tasks. Now, some people be saying like, oh, okay, I know this sounds too good to be true, or I'm not technical enough, or what if I mess this up? I mean, let's talk about someone like Thomas Edison, right? When Thomas Edison was inventing the light bulb, his team told him it was impossible. They failed over 1,000 times. But Edison said something powerful, right? He said, I've not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. And here's the difference with Workspace Studio. You don't need to fail 1,000 times. Google already did that work. They tested everything with enterprise customers with over 20 million tasks, apparently, and now they're giving it to us. So, you know, think about Henry Ford as well. Like, Ford didn't invent the car. He just invented the system that let regular people make cars fast and cheap. So that's what Workspace Studio is. It's not the first AI automation tool, but it's the first one that regular business owners like us can actually use. And so, Yeah, that's basically it. So we're going to talk through some other automations that we can start using now. And run through some ideas and that sort of thing. So let's go back to the workspace and we'll start creating some cool stuff. So if we go over to my agents like so, and we'll see what other templates have got available. But let's see what else we got here. All right, notify me about emails from key people. Let's click on that, see what we got here. So when I get an email from, and we'll just put julian.goldie@gmail.com, right? It's going to summarize that email, as you can see, and then it's going to notify me in the chat. You can also send an email, post in a space. You can upload a spreadsheet as well. This is quite interesting. So you can actually add a row to a spreadsheet. Let's see if we can use this one. So I'm going to create a new spreadsheet here, right? And I'll call this messages from important people, myself being number one on that list. We're going to take the spreadsheet that we just plugged in. This one. Why wouldn't it find? I know where. So I'm on the wrong account. That always helps me. Get yourself on the right account. So I'm going to start a new chat here. All right, so we're on Google Drive. I'm going to create a new sheet for tracking the responses here from email. So I'm going to plug that in. It's going to be called messages from important people, and make sure you're on the right email account. That was something that I messed up. So just make sure that you're on the right email account over here. And then from here, what you're going to do is go back to your workspace where you're building this stuff. Which is flows.workspace.google.com. And then you just go into that automation you were setting up a second ago. You can see we're going to add a row here. There we go. There's the spreadsheet we just created. And then we should just have to add the sheet, which is going to be sheet one. So we'll put sheet one down here. And then we'll go back to the workflow after the latest data row. Okay, should be good to go. So we're going to turn that on now. Now, why the field has an issue? Maybe we need to set up like some header rows like this. Let's try that again. So I've added that to the spreadsheet now. Day, email address, email body. Then we're going to go back to this tab. We'll try and grab that spreadsheet again, just to refresh the data. There we go. All right. And then we just plug in the variables here. So for example, let's take the information. So we can take, I'm not going to fill out the date, but I will fill out the email ID. And then email body, we can plug in this email here. It's a little bit unresponsive, so just be careful with that as well. Sometimes it will take a little while to load the list. Let's plug that in. We can also take the summary as well. And then if we switch that on, hopefully that'll work. Taking a little while to update, as you can see. So it takes about a minute to activate. There we go. All right, so now let's try this out. So when I get an email, we need to add the specific email over here. So I'm just going to put juliangoldie@gmail.com. That's the important email. Hit save changes. All right, so this should be set up now. So just to recap, when we get an email from juliangoldie.com, and you can add whatever email you want. It's going to summarize the email, notify me in chat. I don't use Google Chat, so I don't know why I recommend that. I don't know anyone who uses Google Chat, to be honest. And then from here, it's going to add a row, and it's going to take the variables, so the email ID and the email body, and then plug them into this spreadsheet over here. So let's try this out now. I'm going to send an email to me@juliangoldie.com. Say testing this workflow, plug that in. So then we'll send that email. Then we are going to go over to my other email account. And now we have that email received, as you can see. And we've actually got the message inside the chat here. So you can see there's a message inside the chat in the bottom left. And then if we go over to the spreadsheet, we have the email address and the email body, right? So it's taken the email ID and then the email body, plugged it into the spreadsheet. So that was pretty easy and simple to set up. And you can see how you can like customize the workflows and that sort of thing. Plus, if you were inside your notifications at the time, if you're inside the inbox, you'll see at the bottom left that you have this notify me about email section here. So you can see how easy this is to do. If you have any questions or you want me to try and set something up on the go, let me know inside the chat now. Otherwise, not got that many people on the live stream today, so I'll probably just end it there pretty quickly. But yeah, that's basically it. So it is really cool. You can do a lot of cool stuff with it. It's pretty simple and easy, and it doesn't take a long time at all. Right. Let's see if we can do something else. So if we click on plus sign here, so you got all the triggers. What's interesting here is like, it doesn't seem to link to Google Docs so much, right? So you can see here, you've got a schedule when you get an email, a chat message, Google Drive, a survey form, a meeting, and a sheet. I can't see Google Docs in there. Google Docs doesn't seem to be part of the workflow so much, but it will create a new doc based on that. This would be an interesting one too. So we could test out using Google Sheets for an SEO agent workflow, right? So let's say, for example, when we update this SEO agent workflow, just make sure I go on the right account here. So if we go to our account here, and we'll go to Google Drive, as you can see. And then what we're going to do from here is we're going to set up a new Google Sheet, and we'll call this SEO agent workflow. And then what we want to do inside this Google Sheet, I think we'll keep it super simple. So I'm going to say anytime I add a keyword to this, trigger the workflow, right? So that it creates an SEO optimized article based on the keyword we plug into the sheet, right? So if we go back to Workspace workflow over here, I'm going to put like SEO keyword ideas, like so. And then we're going to say, right, okay, when a sheet changes, and we'll take that spreadsheet we just created, which is the SEO agent one. We're going to take sheet one, and we'll take the keyword, and we'll take the value, right? So whenever a sheet changes, trigger this workflow. And then what we're going to do is create a document, right? And we'll plug in the doc name as the variable, latest values keyword. So we'll change that. Content to add. Here we need to add a different step, right? So I'm actually going to add a new step over here. We can move that down, I think. Ask Gemini to create content. So we're going to say, right, when the sheet changes, latest values, it should create a new document, right? So let's move that up. Basically, when we add a new keyword, we'll ask Gemini to create an SEO article, and then we'll plug that into a new Google Doc, right? So let's see what we got here. Over in the Ask Gemini section, we can use web, workspace, and connected apps. So those are the sources. And then inside the prompt here, we just type in what we want, right? So for example, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take an SEO prompt that works pretty well for us, this one, and then we'll paste that in. And we'll put keyword equals, and we'll plug in the variable, right? So we'll take that prompt, we'll go back to our workspace over here, and we'll say keyword equals, and we'll take the latest values from keyword, right? So the latest values here. Then we're going to say create an SEO optimized article for this. For creating content, do this, blah, blah, blah. Take that information like so, which is all personalized to me and the content we want to create. So, right, so this is basically a prompt for creating SEO content based on the style and information about our business and the funnels we want to link to. And then we're going to say enter a prompt, keyword equals this, do this, using that source, and then create a document using the latest values from the keyword spreadsheet. The content to add is going to be the content from Gemini. And then the location for the new doc, you can plug it into a folder if you want to as well. So let's try this out. We're going to hit switch on now. And we'll see if this SEO agent actually works. So it says SEO agent is on and ready to work. We'll go back to our spreadsheet, and I'm going to type in the keyword over here. So I'm going to put SEO training Japan, just as a little tester. And I think if we click on the activity section here, it should start updating. Now I'm going to go back to here, and I put SEO training Japan over there. And we'll refresh this. So now it's working through, right? So you can see here, when a sheet changes, the sheet changes the SEO agency workflow. Ask Gemini, and so ask Gemini to do this over here. By the way, if you want help with this stuff, if you like AI automation, if you like AI, SEO, etc., then we actually have an offer on right now where you can sign up and just sign up online, right? So if you go to the checkout page here, you're going to use the code Black Friday. We haven't taken it down yet, this coupon code, but it will go out soon. You can save 30% when you order online. And then you can choose, okay, do you want link building, the SEO starter package, SEO premium package, or SEO power package? And just choose between them and order on this form. So feel free to get that link in the comments description. But we're going to go back to this SEO agent right now. It's written all the content here. And then I think it's created the document as well. So let's go over here. Boom. Look at that, right? So it's created basically based on the keyword we plugged into the sheet. We've now created a new blog using our SEO agent, right? And so to recap, this works perfectly first time around, which is pretty amazing. And it all links to your Google ecosystem. So when we add a keyword to this sheet over here, like you can see, it's going to ask Gemini to create the content, which we've got the prompt for over here. Pretty nice. And then it's going to create a Google Doc, like you can see over here, with the blog inside it, right? And so you've basically got an SEO team that can create content, optimize it, funnel traffic to your best landing pages. And you did it all with no code, just telling it exactly what you want, right? And that was incredibly simple. Now, if you want to get access to that SEO agent, what I'm going to do is inside the notes from today, inside the AI Profit Boardroom, if you just go to the AI Profit Boardroom, go to Classroom, and then you scroll down here, and you're going to go to SEO updates November 2025. You can get access to the agents that I build, right? So let me just plug in SEO agent link, right? And I'll put free tools over here. So if you want links to the SEO agent, you've got it over here, right? If you want to grab the other stuff from me as well, I'll include the templates so you can just steal these from me, as you can see. And also, if you're struggling to set these up, just DM me inside the AI Profit Boardroom. You can send me a direct message or post inside the community and get help that way. But you can see like how simple and easy this stuff is, right? And it's all down here. If you have any issues with your agents, you can see like this one. You can just delete it. But you can see we've set up like 5 different AI agents today, and they all pretty much worked first time around, which is pretty amazing. So feel free to get that link in the comments and the description. Yara Paula says you can also control your workspace from the Gemini chat. So you can even make changes and all of that from your phone and such. That's pretty cool. Let's try this out now. So if we go over to chat here, we're going to try this out. Good suggestion from Yara. Appreciate you jumping in there. So let's see what we've got. So we can say, right, okay, when someone joins a space or when I get a chat message, wonder if we can do it based on the chat message then. So when I get a chat message from anyone, maybe like a direct message, you could do it inside there. That's great. And then how do we control this from Gemini directly though? That's interesting. I'm going to click on new agent over here. Maybe we can actually, do you know what? If we go back here, click on plus, I think we can just describe what we want. Let's try this out. We go to discover. So let's click on the discover section over here. All right. And then we're going to describe a task. So I'm going to say, right, okay, give me a workflow I can operate from Gemini chat. See if we can do this. Yeah, so from the actual Gemini chat. So can we actually operate it inside there? Let's have a look inside the Gemini chat. Like how would you, tools, deep research, create videos, dynamic view. Oh, they added a new dynamic view in there as well. All right, let's see if we can use this. So add from Google Drive, tools. Let's try this out. How do we do this? Go to settings and enable it. Which settings? Inside Gemini or inside Workspace Studio? Google Workspace. There we go. So it's already connected there. Let's try this out. So I'm going to say based. I'm going to go over to, oh, do you know what? Let's have a look here. I'm on Pro, so maybe this will work. So I'm going to go to settings, apps. We're going to trigger on Google Workspace, right? So we've plugged in Google Workspace over here. Then we're going to go inside the chat here, and inside this bit, we'll say, right, okay. It might be because I'm not on the Ultra plan. Maybe it's just because I'm on the Workspace, but let's see. All right, so I'm going to say trigger my Workspace Studio. I don't know if this is going to work. Do you know what? Let's try this out instead. Create a new Google Doc and write an article. Or the keyword SEO training Japan. See if we can do this as well. Yes, it's creating the new Google Doc over here. So that's another way you could do it actually, is you don't have to use Google Flows. You can just ask, as long as you have, I think you have to be on the Pro plan or the Ultra plan. But what you could do is you could just go inside the chat here and say, create a new Google Doc, write an article for this, blah, blah, blah. And then from there, you can just create over here, right? Now, is that going to link to my Google Drive? Let's double check this. Let's see. So we've got the Google Doc over here. Then we're going to share and export. And then you just export to Docs, right? If you have a look inside my Google Drive, the folder hasn't been created, right? The file hasn't been created. There is a blog for SEO training Japan, but that's the one we created from Google Flows, not the one from Gemini Chat. So if we go back to the chat here inside Gemini, you can create the blog like you can see. Then you're going to click on export to docs. That's going to start exporting to docs and creating a new file over here, as you can see. And then if we go to Google Drive, you can see that we've got the Google Doc, and the name of the file is a prompt we actually plugged into Gemini, right? So you see here it says create a new Google Doc and write an article for, and then we've got the name of the file over here. That's pretty cool. I never really thought about using Gemini like that. So Yara Paula, thank you very much to you. Great suggestions there. So that's another way you can do no code as well. You've basically got an AI agent that operates inside Gemini Chat as well. And so you've got two options there. You could use flows.workspace.google.com and have this automated, or you could create like a recurring task inside Gemini Chat and then link it to your workspace. Make sure you have it switched on in the settings and you're good to go. So thanks so much for watching. Appreciate everyone who went through and shared some suggestions there. Google Flows are looking really cool. If you want to get daily updates like this, plus video training, for example, you can see here we update our AI Profit Boardroom every single day with new videos, tutorials daily, right? So for example, if you go to the SAP updates over here inside November, you can see we've got 4th of December, all these different updates on the left-hand side, 1st of December, etc. This is all inside the AI Profit Boardroom. What we also have inside the community here is we have all of these new cool updates, like you see, very active community, lots of people sharing stuff and helping each other, as you can see. And then also inside the classroom, we have all these different trainings on, for example, like the automations I use to grow my business with YouTube, with newsletters, with shorts, with emails, with X, Twitter automations, etc. Right? You can also see that we have, for example, a 6-week AI automation masterclass where you can learn how to use AI automation from beginning to end. And then additionally, we have all these AI agents, workflows, NA10 templates, the free tools from today, an agency course on how to get clients with AI automation, Q&A call recordings, and also, for example, my best AI SEO automations, plus a 6-week roadmap for YouTube based on what's working for me. Inside the calendar here, you can see that you get 4 coaching calls a week. So you get 4 coaching calls a week where you can ask any questions, jump on the course live. You can actually watch those back inside the classroom if you can't make them. And yeah, it's just an amazing community of great people. The next people who sign up, the next 5 people who sign up, save 40% and lock in a lifetime deal of 40%. So feel free to get that link in the comments description. Appreciate everyone who's watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye-bye.